Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Herb. How are you?
I'm good. So nice to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you. Thank you for your interest in the film.
Oh, thank you for a remarkable performance. You've been delivering them for a while, but I think hopefully this one will increase your exposure everywhere. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, I got a couple of questions. I know you're on a schedule. First of all, I just have to ask you, what drew you to the film? What was the thing that made you say, I've got to do this?
Well, it was Lyle's script, of course. From the moment he sent it to me, he sent it with this beautiful letter saying, "I'd love for you to look at this script. It's a project that I've been working on for a while, and I'd love for you to consider the part of Makwa." And so I read it, and I think it was probably within 2 minutes of finishing the script that I was on the phone to my manager, my reps, and I said, "I have to do this movie." It was it's just some of the best writing I've seen coming out of our community for a while. We've got great writers, great filmmakers, but this particular drama was just so captivating. It was a beautiful genre piece and really spoke to me.
So was it hard? I mean, obviously your character is, comes, it goes through such a cathartic process, but also it comes from such a dark place. Was it hard to kind of inhabit Makwa's skin for that time while you were filming?
Yeah, it was actually quite brutal to look at the world through his eyes. You might know that actually Makwa's a younger man than I am, so I really wanted to inhabit his experience, and so I decided to lose weight. I'm in my 50s, and I just wanted to look like a young, upwardly mobile executive. So I lost 35 pounds to play him.
Wow.
And that kind of preparation just helped, create a mindset. He was obsessed with his body. He was obsessed with appearance, outward appearance. And so, it created this, no pun intended, but a kind of hunger in me for the things that were important to Makwa. And he's just a lean, troubled man.
Well, and I think, one of the other real successes in this, for me at least, was, that relationship between you and Tedo, the actor Chasky that played that character. It felt authentic. Had you guys known each other before? Had you met, or was that all just from the film?
I worked with Chasky just once before. I've known him, of course. He's a brilliant actor, and I've seen him in many things. But he played my nephew in an A24 film a few years ago. I played Sitting Bull, and he played my nephew. So I was aged a little bit, and he, of course, he looks fantastic. So we met in New Mexico when we were filming that, and it was just so lovely to finally work with him, so that when we got together for Wild Indian, it was sort of a reunion, and we were able to find a very quick shorthand for how we'd work with each other. And honestly, we had one scene, one pivotal scene. And so it was important for us to find that chemistry immediately.
Well, and I think, maybe Lyle's script did this, but I think it was so much of this came down to casting and everything else, that happened. But, it felt so authentic. The young boys, Phoenix and Julian, there was a shorthand there that felt authentic with you guys, even though, as you said, you're not on screen together at the same time. That was very believable. I think that casting was superb all the way around.
Yeah, thank you. Julian and Phoenix were exceptional. And I know that with Lyle's script, the way it was structured gave Chasky and I this incredible foundation on which to build our work, the work as the adult characters. I often would read the first part of the script in the morning or the night before I'd film a scene. I'd read young Makwa's parts. And it just helped me understand who he was. Like, that beautiful shot of him outside the school, and he's looking through the bus, and he sees, that beautiful young blonde kid, that girl. And I was like, oh, he's hungry. He's hungry for something other than his own existence. And that kind of writing, that kind of image would stay with me, through the night or through the rest of the day, and would come out in the adult version. So I think the young men's brilliant work and our prep helped us weave those things together.
So, this, I'm almost seeing, this may be premature for me to say this, but I'm almost seeing like a renaissance in Native stories. And I feel like, even things that are being told by, people like Taylor Sheridan, from Wind River, or just, I feel like there's some really important stories being told, sometimes by Native voices, sometimes, directed by non-natives. But do you feel like this may be the beginning of sort of hearing some or seeing some of these things that hasn't happened before? I think
the dam is breaking. I think Indigenous artists have been pushing, insisting on audiences, acknowledging and confronting them with our stories, authentically told from within our communities, within our culture, and these films are breaking through everywhere. Jeff Barnaby's work, the work of Elmaya Tailfeathers, The World Remembers, when the body remembers when the world broke open. These are extraordinary works. And I think Lyle is one of a number of Indigenous filmmakers that are finally being recognized for, frankly, for their brilliance.
Yeah, no, I think that's true, and I think it demonstrates that the response, hopefully from the community, is going to be, we want to see more of this, and I think that the quality is definitely there, and as long as the platforms exist to present it. I also want to say, I hate to always ask this question, but it's like I always want to know, like, not always, a lot of times I want to know what happened next. And so, like, the way this film ended, and I'm not spoiling anything for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but I almost want to know the next day, the next month, the next week, like what the results of this film, what was the impact on Makwa, right? What was his relationship with his family? What was, what came next? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I have. And Lyle and I spoke about it, because very specifically, without giving too much away, the last, quarter of the film is the breaking down of the mask that Makwa was wearing. So assiduously through his whole life, this exterior that denied that past, that denied his history of violence and rage, and it was all starting to crumble. And I think what we saw at the end was a man who was confronting himself truly for the first time since he was a teenager. And I think that's what was beautiful about the telling of Lyle's direction. Certainly the return of the ancestor, and that crucial moment near the end of the film. I think these are all indications that that the pain that he was carrying, that he was dealing with, was finally breaking.
And he was dealing with it so much differently than Teddo did. And he had to have his own cathartic experience, which I think is really profound to see the way two different people experience some sort of a tragedy and then process it. And that's not something we often see. A lot of times it's from a single perspective. So Lyle did a great job. And just before I let you go, what's up next for you? What's coming up? What can we look forward to?
Well, I start season 2 of Rutherford Falls in November. And of course, I'm very excited to return to the role of Terry Thomas. It was an amazing first season, and I'm excited to, continue that work. Also, next year, Firestarter is coming out for Blumhouse Universal, where I played John Rainbird, the Stephen King adaptation.
Wonderful. Well, that's very exciting. That should be a very high profile piece. And I hope it has people going back to IMDb to look for everything else you've done. So congratulations again. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it, and look forward to seeing much more from you.
Thank you, Herb. It was my pleasure.
Great. Take
Have
care.
a great
Michael.
day. Take care.